Hello, I am going to replace the ESC in my FJ40, so I'm going to take you along for the ride and maybe you can learn a few things on how to do it. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to replace the stock ESC with a Hobbywing Quicrun 1080. And the reason I want to replace mine is just because I want a little bit more control in slow speeds, which the stock ESC does not have. The reason why you might want to replace an ESC could be many. You could have burned it out, you could just want different options. You may want to use a bigger one that can take bigger batteries, or pretty much anything else that you can think of. So for this purpose, we're going to assume that you already have an ESC, because it's a totally different topic to choose the correct one for your purposes. But in this case, we'll just assume we have one. And it's not hard to replace an ESC. It's actually quite easy. There's just a few things that you need to keep in mind that can help you along the way. Most of them are stuck down by Velcro, like hook and loop tape, or just plain old double-sided tape. So removing the double-sided tape might actually be the hardest part of this thing to do, because some tape can be really sticky, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The first thing you need to do is to locate where the ESC is, and on most vehicles you just lift off the body and you have all the electronics there. In this case, it's located just under the hood here in this area. The first step I would do is to just look at it and see where everything is connected. Strip away all of the coverings that might cover any electronics or wires or anything that is connected to it, and just look at the connections. And then take a couple of pictures on how it's connected, so you will remember later on, because you might not remember when you're actually done with this process. And it's always good. So strip everything back, take a couple of pictures, see where the colors are attached, or if you are colorblind, you can mark up with some tape and just type on them in which order they are connected to the motor and to the receiver and so on. And then when you are confident that you will remember how everything is connected, you can start disconnecting everything. When everything is disconnected, you can start prying off the old one. If it's just connected with hook and loop tape or Velcro, then you can just pretty much lift it off. If it's connected with double-sided tape, it's time to start prying it off. And in this case, FMS that made this truck chose some very good double-sided tape. So it's going to take a lot of prying and prying and prying and a little bit more prying and prying and maybe some more prying, and you guessed it, more prying. So yes, this was the hard part done. Now it's out of the area and you can clean it up a little bit. And then you have to prepare your new ESC with the double-sided tape, or if you choose to prefer Velcro, so you just add that to the bottom of it and then to the area where you want to stick it down. And then you choose where you want it to be and you just push it down in the area you want it. Just make sure that you have all of the cables ready and you have decided where you want the cables to run. So in this case, I want them all to be as the stock one was. So the battery and motor cables are going to point outwards. Then once you've decided that, you just push it down in place and wait for the sticky tape to do its thing. And once that is done, you can choose the location for the power switch. In this case, it comes as a separate little module. So I'm going to put it at the side here where I can easily reach it. And then just sticky tape that down as well, double-sided tape. And then comes the fun part. You just have to connect everything back up. You connect the motor, you connect the receiver, and all the components in the receiver. And then it's time to start testing. The first time you switch it on, you probably have to do some setup to make it work and to make the ESC understand the radio that you have. In this case, for the Hobbywing 1080, we have to do a small setup with the throttle of the radio. You just follow the instructions located in the manual of the ESC that you have chosen. Once the setup is done, you should be good to go. It's that easy. There's not much you need to know, and then you just fix the wiring, add a battery, and you go out and drive it again with your new ESC. So don't be afraid of trying to do this. It's fairly straightforward and quite easy depending on the ESC that you choose. So go ahead. If you have a broken down ESC, order a new one and get to replacing it.